Hello, movie lovers. Welcome to the MTE Movie Podcast, episode number 4. I'm Jacob Bartley, and this is the Movie Podcast, or Movie Talk Express, where we discuss mostly major Hollywood release movies, some indie films, and acclaimed movies and performances, from everything including news, speculation, reviews, and opinions. You can find our blog at movietalkexpress.com. I'm here with my co-host, co-writer at Movie Talk Express. You know him as the movie news guru. Gio, how you doing, man?
Doing good. Glad to be here. Hope y'all are having a wonderful day.
Oh, yeah, I'm doing well as well. You know, it's a Jurassic World kind of week.
Oh, yeah.
As you can see it running the movie headlines, box office, reviews, some good, some not so good.
Chris Pratt signing on for multiple films. Oh, yeah.
Well, you can imagine that's a given. So, yeah, today we're here at episode number 4 of our podcast. We made it to a month. Congratulations to us.
Good job, man. You're doing good.
And today we're going to first talk about the Jurassic World box office and its monstrous performance. And then we're going to get into the movie news for the week. So without further ado, let's get into our first segment. So Jurassic World just released this past Friday, and it has had an historic opening weekend domestically and worldwide. This is crazy. Some websites have it a little differently, but the general number that's running around and from the place that I trust, Box Office Mojo, is at $204 million domestically. That's insane. It's the second best of all time opening weekend behind the Avengers, and in between the Avengers and Age of Ultron.
Yeah, actually, this morning, Variety reports that Jurassic World has passed Avengers with 209 million domestic weekend total.
Yeah,
this was reported this morning, so
a bunch of different websites have different numbers. Some of the websites say 207, some of them say 204, some of them say 210. It's weird. I don't know. I trust Box Office Mojo, so right. I'm gonna stick with that for now. But if it does pass 207, that's incredible. Congratulations to Jurassic World, and I'm not mad at that. I loved that movie. I loved it so much, and I can't express. You know, we're gonna most likely put up a spoilers review in the next week or so you guys can look out for that. If not, we'll put out a little editorial talking about the film and what we think about it. So yeah, wow, 204 million, maybe more domestically.
What an achievement!
And over 500 million worldwide in 3 days. That's insane.
It's incredible. It just shows how much people love Jurassic Park, and apparently Chris Pratt as well.
And that 500 plus million is the best of all time,
right.
Beating the current holder of that record, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, which had 483 million worldwide in its opening weekend.
Wow.
So that's crazy. What do you think about this? Looking at all the numbers and everything, take a second, look back at it.
Well, like I said, the audience still loves dinosaurs. The marketing was a little bit up and down, but it was apparently enough to get people interested and wanting to go see this new Jurassic Park film. And I think it's the first one in about 10 years, I want to say. It's been 10 years since Jurassic Park 3. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments.
I think it's been longer. I'm not exactly sure. But.
Right, yeah. But it's evident we miss seeing dinosaurs on screen. We love the world, and we love Chris Pratt, apparently, which I thought he did a good job in the film. He once again proven that he's a legit lead actor.
Jurassic Park 3 came out in 2001.
So closer to 15 years. Yeah.
14 years. So you just saw the movie, correct?
Like 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. So
just your quick initial thoughts on the film.
Okay, so Jurassic World, I thought it was very good. It definitely had that nostalgia factor. Because I was around when the first film came out, so it was quite exciting. The characters were pretty good. The highlight was Chris Pratt, but the unsung hero was Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, she was actually really good in the film.
Yeah, her character was pretty awesome. It was nice to see some of the action sequences. I will tease that there is a pretty big fight scene at the end, and that's all I'm gonna say. So look out for that.
It's no secret I loved the movie. Those of you who follow our blog have maybe seen my review, and I was blown away by this film. I can't believe how much I liked it. I want to see it again before I state how much I really liked it, because I'm talking like favorite movie of the year. It's up there. It possibly could be. And I was very pleasantly surprised by that, by Jurassic World. It was a great movie. So looking at the domestic total for this weekend, how much do you think it's going to drop off next weekend? 50%, which would be 100 million or more?
Right. Well, I'm looking at next weekend. We have
Inside Out,
Inside
correct?
Out, yes.
But, it might cross over the same audiences. It probably will, because Jurassic World is a family thing as well.
Yeah, so kids and parents are going to be taking their kids to see Inside Out. And then you have Dope, which isn't necessarily like a maybe it is a wide release film, but it's sort of like it's an indie film.
It's not. Yeah, it's considered an indie film. It's not going to crush at the box office.
Right. So I'm gonna say about 55% drop off.
Yeah, I'm gonna say about. I think Jurassic World's going to win the box office next weekend again.
Yeah,
and I'd say it's going to have like. Man, that's tough, because. So I think Inside Out is going to be a movie that has legs. It's going to be in theaters for months, and it's going to build their box office. I don't think it's going to come out and crush right away. Maybe it's going to. I think it'll do like 60 million opening weekend. So, and I think Jurassic World will come about like 70, 75 million. So that's interesting. And where do you think, when it's all said and done, where do you think Jurassic World will end up making worldwide?
I'm going to say 1.1 billion.
Yeah, I got it at about 1.2. I don't think it's going to quite reach Age of Ultron or Fast 7 for this year. Fast 7 is a monster.
Right. And looking down the road, June 26th, Ted 2. So there's not much competition.
So it has a lot. Yeah.
Not at least until July, when Terminator and
when all the big blockbusters start coming out.
Yeah, the more. But speaking of Universal, real quickly, Furious 7, $1.5 billion. Jurassic World, first weekend, $500 million. And then, taking into account Pitch Perfect 2 and 50 Shades of Grey, Universal's killing it.
They might win the box office this year. Maybe not, because Disney's going to be up there
Disney
too.
Still has one other film coming out later on.
All right, well, there you have it. Our thoughts on the Jurassic World box office this week. We're going to head into our next segment, which is the movie news from the past week, where Gio, the movie news guru, is going to pick about 3 to 4 or maybe 5 news topics and present them, and we're going to discuss them and give our opinions. So, Gio, what do we got first?
All right, our first topic, Marvel and Sony are at odds over Spider-Man casting. So, Captain America Civil War has been shooting since last month down in Atlanta, and although it's not confirmed, it's universally expected that Spider-Man will appear in Captain America Civil War. And should that be true, his schedule to shoot scenes, he's scheduled to appear on set in July now. And it was June, but because of this odds over the Spider-Man casting, they might have to move it a month. So apparently, Jeff Snyder, a correspondent at The Wrap, revealed that frontrunner Asa Butterfield from Ender's Game is currently out, and it's down to 3 actors. Now, Marvel is head over heels for Charlie Plummer, who was in Boardwalk Empire. And Sony, they're loving Tom Holland, who was in the disaster real-life flick The Impossible, which also starred Ewan McGregor. And also in the running is Matthew Lintz, who is expected to have a small role in upcoming Pixels. So it's down to Charlie Plummer, Tom Holland, and Matthew Lintz. So keeping all that in mind, I think it's going to be Charlie Plummer, the guy which Marvel loves. And I think it's because I think Marvel should have the decision because they know this universe. It's Spider-Man entering the MCU, not the other way around. So keeping that in mind, I think Marvel should make the decision. Although Sony has made some very good casting decisions as far as Spider-Man. But, I mean, let Marvel do their thing. They've casted... I mean, who in the Avengers do we not love? Is there one casting that you don't love right now?
Yeah, they've embodied those characters, each and every... Even all the side characters
Right.
as well.
So I think the decision will be made within the next 2 weeks. I mean, for all we know, that the decision is made right now. So who knows? But yeah, they're at odds. Marvel, Sony. So we'll have to wait and see.
I think this report is straight bullcrap. Honestly, I don't believe it. I don't believe Marvel and Sony are at odds over Spider-Man casting. I think they already cast Spider-Man. Honestly, I really truly believe that. I don't know where all this information comes from as far as kids flying to Atlanta to do test screenings and stuff. Maybe it's all true and I'm completely wrong, but I don't know where these people are getting their sources from. I believe that Spider-Man has already been cast. How they have to prepare so much as far as shooting and incorporating the character, and I don't think they're just going to wing it and wait till the last minute to cast somebody. I also believe that while Marvel should have a strong say in who the next Spider-Man is going to be, and while Sony would be fools to not listen to them, Sony has the final say. I can guarantee it, because no matter what, Spider-Man as a film franchise is still Sony's property. So I guarantee you in that deal, there's in their contract they signed, I guarantee there's something that says, we'll consult with you about everything, but the final decision is ours. If they allow Marvel to make casting decisions that's ultimately going to impact their movie, which the Spider-Man individual movies are Sony movies. Even though they're in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they're Sony movies. So Sony's going to have a final say in it. So yeah, I don't think they haven't chosen an actor yet. I think he's already been cast, and I hope it's Logan Lerman, because I have no idea who any of these kids are.
Right.
And that doesn't mean anything, and seeing all their pictures, they look very young, and I don't know how they're going to uphold a presence with Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner. How are they going to uphold a presence? And there's an argument to be made that doesn't matter. Like, he's going to come in and do his job no matter what. But I think somebody with a little more experience, a little more maturity should come in and take the role, like a Logan Lerman. He's my personal choice. And I do believe that Sony has the final say in who's going to be cast.
I don't disagree with you at all. It could go either way, but I mean, honestly, who knows?
Yeah,
really.
Who knows where this stuff comes from? All right, what do we got next?
Okay, so next movie topic is going to be about Tomorrowland. So a report came out from The Hollywood Reporter that Disney Studios is expected to lose around $140 million for Tomorrowland. Now, Disney in the past, they have had trouble with properties that have non-existent fan bases, like The Lone Ranger and John Carter. Those are two recent great examples that Disney invested a lot of money into both production and marketing, and the end result was huge financial losses.
And excuse me for 1 second, and they both showed that it doesn't matter if the movie's good or not, because John Carter got positive responses from critics, and it's recognized from a lot of people as being a good movie, and The Lone Ranger is noticed by most people to be a shit bomb and a horrible movie. So that goes to show it doesn't matter if the movie's good or not. The box office numbers are going to show no matter what.
Right. So altogether, both films, The Lone Ranger and John Carter, combined for a total of $390 million that Disney has lost. And for me, this goes to show that the studio has a serious problem as far as marketing the films. I mean, like I said in my blog post, Alice in Wonderland, Iron Man 3, Avengers, even the live action Cinderella, and what was the other one? Maleficent.
Yeah.
These have no problem being profitable because there's a fan base there already, and people are familiar with this property, these characters. Therefore, Disney has no problem marketing these films. But when it comes to the Lone Ranger and John Carter, I firmly believe the success of those films rely on word of mouth, marketing, and positive reviews. If you don't have those, then the movie is, it's a flop, basically. So yeah, Disney's latest film, Tomorrowland, will cost them $140 million.
Wow, that's insane. I actually liked Tomorrowland before I saw Jurassic World. Tomorrowland was in my top 5 movies of the year for this year so far. It wasn't a great movie. It wasn't even really, really good. It was just, I had a fun time watching it, and I was actually really surprised to see the box office numbers. You just take a look at the film, all right? People know it's a Disney property. They market that it's a Disney movie. Whether or not people are familiar with the Tomorrowland as a title is irrelevant, because they made sure people knew it was coming from Disney. And you have George Clooney starring in it, which he's one of the biggest actors on the planet, and maybe he's only appealing to adults nowadays, but still, I thought that would be enough to get people out to go see it. And you're right, it wasn't a known franchise going into it. But let's make one thing clear: Disney is not in trouble at all.
No,
they're doing very fine. They got
good to go.
They got MCU movies coming out 3 times a year starting in 2017. They got Star Wars. They got all these
Avengers,
all these live action adaptations of their animated films like Cinderella and Maleficent.
Inside Out. Yeah,
Disney is doing fine, but it does go to show that if it's not a well-known brand that's going to be able to be marketable on name alone, then it's not worth making these days. It sucks. It really does. And it worries me because Disney took a chance on making, even though Tomorrowland is a pre-existing name as far as the theme park, that the movie has nothing really to do with the theme park at all. Tomorrowland is a new franchise, and it worries me because it makes me think that studios are going to stop taking risks on new ideas and just push out these known properties, and that's very unfortunate.
Yeah, these big budget blockbusters that are sort of unknown, we could see less and less of them in the near future. And thanks a lot, Tomorrowland, for causing Tron 3 to be canceled.
Oh yeah, I forgot, that was another point I had, that it goes to show Disney is not going to take any more risks. Within a week or two of Tomorrowland coming out, they canceled Tron 3, which is a similar, I mean, people could argue that Tron is a recognizable brand name, but even though the last one did make them some money, it wasn't it didn't hit near $1 billion like they probably wanted with a movie that required that much of a budget. Mm-hmm. But it's very unfortunate. I haven't even seen the last 2 Tron movies, the first 2 Tron movies, but it still upset me that they canceled the new one. And I hopefully they bring it back.
Right.
All right, what do we got next?
All right, next topic. Bad Boys 3. We finally have movement, some progress on that. It's been revealed that Joe Carnahan, the director best known for The Grey, starring Liam Neeson, is in talks to direct Bad Boys 3 from a script written by David Guggenheim. Sorry if I mispronounced that. He's best known for the action film Safe House, starring Ryan Reynolds and Denzel Washington. So Bad Boys 3 may finally have a director. We know Martin Lawrence is wanting to do a film badly. He could probably use one right now. The problem has, for the longest time, has been Will Smith. There have been stories out there in the past about Will Smith being this actor who demands the spotlight, and rightfully so. The guy can carry a film. He's very charismatic. He still has that on-screen, command, that power, but it kind of delays what these studios want to and what these studios want to give the fans. Because I want a Bad Boys 3, you probably want a Bad Boys 3, and a lot of people out there probably want to see a Bad Boys 3. I enjoyed the first and second film. I love seeing Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, their on-screen chemistry. They're great. Whether I want to see Michael Bay return as the director is, I personally don't care, honestly. But I want to see Will Smith and Martin Lawrence back together, and this is the first step in getting that, to become a reality. So Joe Carnahan is in talks to direct. They have a script, and the idea is to get everything ready so when Will Smith finishes shooting Suicide Squad, they will have this whole entire package to present to him. And honestly, if they're able to do that, I think he's going to take it. Because recently we've seen Will Smith kind of, take a back step and, realize that he's not the box office king that he was in the mid-2000s. It's evident with Suicide Squad. Who would have ever thought he would join an ensemble? He's usually the guy who wants the lead role in the film, so to speak. So, yeah, Bad Boys 3, one step closer to seeing the day of light.
Well, yeah, I would like to see a Bad Boys 3. I really would. Those are very highly enjoyable action comedies, and there's not a lot of good action comedies these days. I mean, it's very different, but the closest thing I can think of is like 22 Jump Street in that
Those
franchise.
buddy cop,
even though it's more
flicks.
comedy than action,
right?
It's they're very similar in those type of movies, and I would love to see them back together. But I do not want Michael Bay directing. I don't think Michael Bay is a horrible director, right? I mean, he's getting paid to do what the studio asks him. I don't blame him for that, but I'd rather see somebody come in that's going to take this property and care about it. I think Michael Bay is far past worrying about a franchise that he helped build over 10 years ago. I think he's far past that. And as far as Joe Carnahan, I'm not too familiar with his work, but looking at his IMDb page, so he's directed Smoking Aces, The A-Team, The Grey, correct?
Yeah, I would say.
So I have not seen any of those movies, which is crazy to say.
Smoking Aces was okay. It's one of those guilty pleasures for me, just because of all the actors in there and the action, so to speak. The Grey was a really...
I heard The Grey's really good.
It's a pretty intense thriller. Yeah, Liam Neeson gets down and dirty in that film. And what was the other one?
The A-Team.
I didn't like that.
Yeah. Oh, well, it looks like he's worked with Liam Neeson a few times. Well, it looks like he's primarily been an action director, so maybe that will do him well working in the Bad Boys franchise. He'll be able to coordinate those action scenes while working with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I'm excited for that. We'll see.
Yeah, me too. What do we got next?
All right. Next. The X-Men spinoff film, Gambit, has officially found its director. So, about a year ago, X-Men Days of Future Past producer Lauren Donner broke the news that Channing Tatum will be Gambit. And since then, we've had a number of directors attached, well, not really attached, but in talks to direct, from Foxcatcher's Bennett Miller to Darren Aronofsky, and both have turned down the gig to direct. And we know that there's a completed draft written by Joss Zettumer. It's being called a killer script. The plot for the script has been rumored to be downsized, so it's not about really saving the world. It's more of, in a smaller scope. And there's been comparisons to Batman Begins and Guardians of the Galaxy as far as that, gritty with a little bit of the
comedic tone,
dark humor.
Yeah, that's
so
cool
to
though.
speak.
That's a good mixture.
Yeah. So Rupert Wyatt, best known for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, has signed on to direct, and I like this. We don't know if the Gambit film will be a origin story, but like I told you earlier, if it is, I think Rupert Wyatt is the guy to make this film, because seeing what he did for Caesar's origin story for Rise of the Planet of the Apes, that was really something. I enjoyed that movie a lot. So I have high hopes that he'll be able to give us something similar to that, and seeing Channing Tatum as Gambit is also a plus for me. I think that guy will deliver. I love his passion, his dedication for the character. So we'll see.
Well, it looks like this guy loves gambling and cards, because his last film was The Gambler, which
that's right.
didn't get very good reviews. I haven't seen it, but it hasn't gotten very good reviews. But that's irrelevant. I love this news. He's great. So the only film of his I've seen is Rise of the Planet of the Apes. But like you said, he had to establish a world in that movie. He had to set up everything, and he did it extremely well. I haven't heard one person that says they haven't liked that movie. And after sitting back and evaluating it and looking at both films, I actually like Rise of the Planet of the Apes more than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. But that's just my personal preference. James Franco is one of my favorite actors, and he really showed a different side of himself in that movie, I think.
Right.
And I just love seeing how human Caesar was, and how he loved humans and his interactions with those humans. This really has nothing to do with Rupert Wyatt directing a Gambit movie, but it just goes to show he can handle characters. He can handle setting up an environment and a world that people can get lost in, and I think he's a great choice to direct the Channing Tatum Gambit film. Why not?
Agreed. Yeah.
All right, what's next?
I think that's it for movie topics.
Oh, was that all the movie news? All right, well, I have a question for you, Gio. So you're a big boxing fan, correct?
Yes.
You love boxing. You always have events at your house when the big matches are coming around.
Yeah.
So we have two highly anticipated boxing films coming out this year. Two movies that we've talked about a lot. One, Southpaw, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, directed by Antoine Fuqua. And then Creed, which is within the Rocky continuity, and it stars Sylvester Stallone and Michael B. Jordan as the son of Creed. Apollo Creed?
Yes.
The son of Apollo Creed, with Rocky training him. So you have two very highly anticipated movies as far as your interest, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So which of these movies do you think is going to be the better film? Which one are you looking forward to the most? Who's going to give a better performance, Michael B. Jordan or Gyllenhaal? And do you think either will be in consideration for an Oscar nominee?
Oh boy, you put me on the spot here. Oh man. Okay. So the first question was which one am I more excited for?
Which one are you more excited for, and what do you think is going to be a better film?
Oh, I'm more excited for Creed. I've been following Creed ever since it was rumored.
And it's a Rocky movie,
right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. For those of you who've been following this blog for a while, I have been writing about every single piece of Creed information out there. I am so looking forward to this film. I love the Rocky films. I love the idea of Apollo Creed's son, being trained by Rocky Balboa to become a great fighter like his father. There's no perfect way to bring back the Rocky films than that, because I don't want to see Sylvester Stallone
getting in the ring again. That he's too old. I mean, the character's too old.
Right. It was fine in Rocky Balboa. That was a great film to cap off the Rocky films, but this is such a special way to bring back the Rocky Balboa on the big screen. But not to have him as a fighter, but as a trainer that's what makes it special, because his relationship with his trainer Mickey, up until when he, spoiler, died in the third film, it was so special seeing them two, interact on screen. Mickey would be, lecturing Rocky, teaching him, mentoring him, and at times yelling at him. Those training montages, man, they really they're so inspiring. So I am definitely looking forward to Creed. I love Michael B. Jordan in the starring role. I think he's gonna kill it.
He's a great actor.
Yeah,
he really is. So, who do you think? So Jake Gyllenhaal, Michael B. Jordan, they're both great actors. We've seen them do great things recently. Jake Gyllenhaal with Nightcrawler, Michael B. Jordan with Fruitvale Station, who's teaming up with the same director for Creed in Ryan Coogler. Who do you think is going to end up giving a better performance, and will either of them get Oscar attention?
I'm going to go with Michael B. Jordan giving the better performance, only because Ryan Coogler has worked with him before.
And that's arguably his best performance in Fruitvale Station.
Yeah. So seeing them two reunite is just, it's a recipe for
something great.
Yeah. Something even greater than what we've seen before. So that duo, I think they're going to bring it, and I think Michael B. Jordan's going to have the better performance. No disrespect to Jake Gyllenhaal, I'm really looking forward to seeing him.
That's a great reason to give. He's working with a director where he's proven to give very strong performance with. So.
Right.
It's not a bad choice. Yes. I wouldn't disagree with you.
As far as you said, Oscar?
Yeah, do you think either of them will get any Oscar attention?
Okay, so Creed comes out on Thanksgiving, which is right in Oscar award season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't put money on Michael B. Jordan getting a Oscar nomination. And here's where I'm going to go a little bit off the rails here. I'm predicting that Sylvester Stallone is going to get a nomination for Best Supporting Actor.
Wow. That's crazy. I was not expecting to hear that. I remember you said that like a year ago. I remember when they were putting this movie together. That's crazy. I mean, hey, if he does, I'll be happy for him, and we could always, go back to this podcast episode where it's on record where you predicted that, and I've never heard anyone else say that.
I'm just looking at the director.
Yeah.
Rocky taking a step back, not being the lead actor. Yeah. He's going to be a support. It's a passion role for him because
that's cool.
Him playing a mentor,
and he's gonna like he's gonna actually care about this role, you know. So,
right.
And I'm sure he was the in the forefront of putting this whole movie together.
Right.
So,
yeah.
You know he's gonna give it his all.
All right, so I think Best Supporting Actor nomination, Sylvester Stallone. You've heard it here on June 15th.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to both movies as well. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of the MTE Movie Podcast. It was episode number 4, and we had fun with you all as always. Thank you for listening, and you can check out our movie blog anytime you want. We are now officially MovieTalkExpress.com.
Oh, yeah.
No longer MovieTalkExpress.wordpress.com. We still run through WordPress, but the official URL for our website is MovieTalkExpress.com, so you can check us out there. You can check us out on Facebook at Movie Talk Express, on Twitter at MovieTalkEX. You can find me on Twitter at Jake Ryan Bartley. And Gio, let them know where they can find you at.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Giorgio Ramos 24, Giorgio Ramos 24. I'm also on Facebook at Giorgio Ramos. And check out our blog. We definitely have a lot of content up. And thanks for listening, guys.
All right. See you guys next week.